Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Q here for the Buttonsmashers.com, and we're talking about the Nintendo Switch Lite. This device was announced yesterday, and it's basically a handheld version of the Switch. Now, when I say it's a handheld version of the Switch, I mean completely dedicated, 100% just a handheld version of the Switch. Which a lot of people have been having a lot of jokes about the fact that you can't call it a Switch anymore because it can't switch between tele mode, like docked mode, and playing it in handheld mode because it's only handheld mode. Right? And so what I did was I wrote an article about it yesterday, and a lot of other outlets put up stuff about the new Switch handheld and all that kind of stuff, and I wanted to make a video yesterday about it, but time constraints and all that kind of stuff, I didn't end up getting around to that because I was working on other videos that went up yesterday, which I will probably try to link some of those videos in here so you guys will see it. Hopefully you guys go check them out. But anyway, the point is that this is a new dedicated handheld for the Switch. It comes in 3 colors. It's coming in yellow, they call it, yeah, yellow, gray, and turquoise, right? So those are the 3 colors it's coming in, and there's also one that's going to be a, how do you call it, a Zacian and Zamazenta, right? I guess those are the legendaries for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So Pokemon Sword and Shield version is coming out as well, which is a sort of like a gray mixed with blue and pink version of the Switch Lite, right? So what is there to think about this device? What do I think about this device? What are the details of the device? All that kind of stuff. So I'm going to save my thoughts for the end of this video, and I'm going to just jump into the details about the device, right? So the Switch Lite, as I mentioned before, only has handheld mode, right? So you can only use it in handheld mode. You cannot connect it to a dock. There is no way, as far as we know so far, to connect it to a dock. Now I believe the device does have a USB-C port, so at some point in the future people may figure out how to make it work on the telly, like find a way to make it to work. Especially the homebrew community, they usually come up with ways to make stuff like this work, but at the moment no compatibility for TV mode. It also has no tabletop mode as well because of the fact that the Switch Lite doesn't have a kickstand, so there's nowhere to keep it standing. It is not compatible with the Joy-Cons. It has no HD rumble included and no IR camera included, right? So none of those things that they were like prominent in the Nintendo Switch, they're not there in the Switch Lite apparently, right? So what is there to like about the Switch Lite? What is there to consider? If you're going to consider getting a Switch Lite, why would you consider getting this over getting a Nintendo Switch? Now for me personally, I would say I wouldn't recommend getting this over a Nintendo Switch. I think if you really want to have what makes the Switch what it is, you get a Switch, right? Because the Switch has it has what the Switch Lite has and then some. If you'd like to receive all that the Buttonsmashers has to offer on YouTube, then make sure to subscribe to all of our channels on here. You'll find that we cover a lot of content including Japanese and Western games, as well as anime, manga, and technology. You'll find links for each of the channels in the description, so make sure to subscribe to all of them so that you don't miss anything. In my opinion, the Switch Lite is basically for people who don't already have a Nintendo Switch or kids. The reason for that is because as a device it's a bit more rigid because it doesn't have the detachable Joy-Cons, and so everything is one solid device, and I think for kids that's an appealing thing, right? For those who don't already have a Switch, this may be people who don't have any intention to ever play this in dock mode, ever connected to the telly or whatever have you. Yes, the Switch Lite is perfect for you as well. If you just want to play handheld games and you want to play on the go and all that kind of stuff and have the games that you can play on the Switch on the go, the Switch Lite is also something that you may want to consider, right? But for those of you who may work in the industry like me, who cover games and all that kind of stuff, you're going to want a Nintendo Switch because you're going to want to be able to connect it to a capture card and capture your footage. That's one. For those of you who may have interest in, playing your games on a better resolution, maybe better frame rates and whatever have you, again, you're going to want to have to get the mainline Nintendo Switch. Now, the only other reason I can see someone getting a Switch Lite is if they're on a really tight budget and they can only afford something of a lower price, because the Switch Lite is $100 less than the official Nintendo Switch. So I would say, yeah, if you are on a budget and maybe you're trying to save some money, maybe you get the Nintendo Switch Lite for that reason. I can't see any other reason to get the device. I think for me personally, I would still get the Nintendo Switch as my mainline device to play, and I currently have a Nintendo Switch, and if I were to buy another device, like let's say for example my Switch died for any reason, I would still buy another Nintendo Switch because of the fact I don't see this device as something that's swaying me towards it, because of the fact that, as I mentioned before, I work in the industry, so I cover games and all that kind of good stuff, and I need to be able to capture data off of it. I need to capture the footage and all that kind of stuff, and the Nintendo Switch has a feature where you can capture footage of a game, but it's only a short amount of time, so it's really short. I think it's like 15 seconds or something like that, if so much. And other than that too, not all games support it. So for example, of the most recent reviews I did, which is one I'm going to link right now, Senran Kagura Peach Ball, I couldn't capture video footage of it. I can only capture images, right? Other games have that feature disabled, so I don't know why they have it, because a lot of games have it enabled, but who knows. The point is that for games like those, I really need to use my capture card more so than anything, so I can get proper footage when I'm doing reviews and stuff like that. So for me, I don't think I'll ever consider Nintendo Switch Lite. The other reason why I wouldn't consider the Nintendo Switch Lite, at first I was kind of like maybe thinking, oh, this could be interesting because of the fact I could leave my main Switch home and then take the Switch Lite out because it's smaller. That's the other thing, it's a lot smaller in a, or should I say a decent amount smaller, so it makes it a lot more portable because of the fact that, for example, I travel a lot, and when I travel I usually have both my handhelds on me, or should I say all my handhelds on me. I usually have my 3DS, my Switch, and my Vita, but of those devices, the one I use the most is usually the Vita because it's a lot smaller and it's easier to handle, especially if you're in flight and you want to pop out something to play. That ad Nintendo put out where they were like, you could put it on the kickstand in front of you, like the sort of like the tray, that's ridiculous. That doesn't work. Planes shake and people move and all that kind of stuff. Those seats don't stay still, and there's no way that's gonna stand up there because the kickstand is rigidy and lame, right? The last time I tried to play like that, I had to actually prop my bag underneath me and put it on my bag to play the Switch in flight, and that wasn't really ideal. So the Vita was my go-to device for that reason. So I can see the Switch Lite being a device that I would use in that similar way because it's smaller and it's one whole rigid, you know, fixed device. The only thing is that most of my library is digital, and when it comes to save data and all that kind of stuff, the Nintendo Switch save data system that they have in place, I haven't actually used the cloud saving feature, and I'm not paying for that. You know, I'm not going to pay for cloud saving on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's ridiculous. I get free cloud saves on Steam, and Xbox has it as well. PlayStation, I can't be bothered. I've said a lot of bad things about PlayStation recently, and I will continue to say them until they change their censorship policies. So basically for me, I don't see a reason to get this if you're thinking, oh, it's going to be the device I carry with me when I travel. I don't see it. Not at this particular moment. Maybe if Nintendo changes the way in which you can transfer your save data and stuff like that, maybe if I could just copy it from an SD card or something, maybe that'll make it easier for me and I'll be like, yeah, this seems like a good thing to do. But for the time being, no, I don't see the Switch Lite as something that I want to play or own or anything like that at this particular moment. Right now, I prefer my current Switch. I like how it looks, I like how it feels. Maybe the Lite may be a bit more comfortable for me. I could see that because the standard Nintendo Switch isn't the most comfortable device in handheld mode, but for now, I'll stick with my Switch. And with that being said, for those of you who may want to pick up one of these Switch Lites, it's coming out in September the 20th, 2019. So if you want, you can pick up one for $200 US instead of $300 US as the original Switch goes by. So it's $100 off, as I mentioned before, which again could be a tempting price to pick up one. I know a lot of people are just going to buy them just to have. A lot of people are going to buy them and they're just going to be like sort of devices that people keep just to say, I own this. But for me, I'm a much more practical person. When I buy something, it has to be used. It has to be something that I'm going to use. And if I buy something and it's going to replace something else, I'm going to get rid of that something else. I'm not going to just have two of the same console just to say I have two of the same console. To me, that seems ridiculous. I'd rather have one of each and be using that one of each, you know, unless of course I happen to live in a household where I'm sharing consoles with a lot of people. But at this moment, I don't share consoles with other people, so with that, I don't see a reason to get a Switch Lite, for me personally. I'd love to know what you guys think, so leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about the Switch Lite. I'm really curious as to what you guys will have to say about this device, because I personally don't see the reason to get one as someone who owns a Nintendo Switch, but maybe some of you guys may have different points of view. So let me know in the comment section below, and if you like this video, make sure to like, hit that subscribe button, and with that guys, I will see you guys in the next one.